Okay, now we're going to begin chapter 7 in the book on loops. I'm on page 82, and this figure, as it says, shows the basic syntax for how a loop works. It looks very much like an if statement, except we substitute the word while for the word if. And then we have our condition we evaluate, and if that is true, then what's inside these curly braces will execute, and it will continue to loop through this until the condition is false. So it will test this, when we encounter the while, it'll test this condition, execute these statements that are in between your curly braces, then go back up to this condition right here and retest it just over and over and over again until that proceeds to be false. So let's create our first program. I'm going to call this one loop demo. Save it. And I'm going to throw out a simple system.out.println, just saying welcome to my program. That way I know my program works. So I'm going to now throw in a while statement. And remember, we're waiting for to evaluate whether this is true. So we can actually use the word true in there as a sort of a default. And I'm going to throw this in here. I'm going to compile it, and this is going to continue to run over and over and over. So I am looping. And if I go to the very top, it should say, if I can get up there, welcome to my program, but it's probably refreshing so fast. Now what this is called right there is an endless loop. You're stuck inside of a loop and there's no way out. So I'm going to change the way I do that, since true will always keep looping. So my first one is going to be, I'll do something like double x equals 0. And we'll say while x is less than 10. And I'm going to concatenate this, throw in x so we can see what iteration we're on. An iteration is a word for loop. So we'll set that up. And now, so that it continues to go through, I'm going to do x equals x plus 1. Otherwise, we would still be stuck in an endless loop here. So x is 0. What's going to come down here is x less than 10. Well, yes, that's true. So it's going to execute what's in here inside our while loop. It's going to print this, add 1, and then go back up. So it should go through 9 or 10 times, depending on whether we set this as 1 or 0. So let me compile, execute. Yeah. So we've gone through 10 times, starting at 0, ending at 9. So if we wanted that to print 10, we could do this while less than 11. Compile, execute. There, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And then to make sure we know we're outside of the loop, I'll add this message here. You're outside of the loop. Compile, and we'll execute, and there we go. We got our first message, our loop. If we wanted to skip 2 times, we could change like that, count by 2. Compile, let's execute. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. We're outside of the loop. And I turned off that annoying beep every time my computer compiles. So let's change it now so we can also loop with strings. We'll call this string input. Let's set it equal to quote, quote. And in here, we're going to use, just like we would with if statements, we would do while input dot equals, ignore case, and then in parentheses and in quotes, we're putting something like hello. So I'm going to get rid of that. And we'll just say we're looping. Let's compile and see what happens. So while input equals hello, it should loop. And since it doesn't, you can notice right here, it skips that. A way around that would be to say not equals. Now when we're doing with strings, not equals is going to set up like this. Instead of exclamation equal sign, we have to use this character. Exclamation means not. So if we were using numbers, we would set it up like not equals that way, but we have to do it this way. So this should get us a never-ending loop. There we go. So the way around that is to then get some user input. So we're going to import javax.swing.star. And set input equals JOptionPane. Show input dialog. And anything besides hello to stop looping. So, as long as it does not equal hello, it should keep looping us. Now this is going to generate an error. No, I shouldn't say an error. It's going to keep us in the loop. And I'll show you why pretty soon. Welcome to my program. Enter anything besides hello to stop looping. We are looping. All right. And if I enter loop, or hello rather, we're outside. But once we were in that loop, we couldn't get out of it because we never asked the user anything. So I'm going to copy this down and throw it inside, and now we'll get the option of looping or not looping. I'm going to change this to a JOptionPane also. So notice this first one, we're not going to, what they enter isn't going to matter because it's not equal to anything. So I'll compile it, I'll execute it, I'll type in some nonsense, we're looping, okay? Enter anything besides hello. Well, I guess I mean enter hello to loop. I have the wrong message there. But if I enter hello, it takes us out. And that is how loops work.